Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this interview of the series called New Generation Hypnosis, when we meet good hypnotists from all over the planet to share information, content, stories, and personal experiences about hypnosis. My name is Caruso Colzi, and today our guest will be Ashwita Goel. Hello, Ashwita.
Hi, Caruso.
So, Ashwita, please tell us briefly who you are, where you come from, and what do you do?
So I was born in India to parents that come from such diverse cultures. People think of India as one country, but really my parents are so far away. It's like an Italian marrying a Scandinavian. Basically, that's the contrast in culture. There's nothing similar between them. So I grew up in a very culturally diverse environment with totally different belief systems, even spiritually speaking. And but we did all have a very strong spiritual bent of mind. So I learned meditation very early on, and I learned Reiki as a teenager, 23 years ago, and became an engineer because that's what all Indians do when they don't know what to do with their life. And a few years into that, I became a Reiki master, and then I started teaching friends and eventually strangers, and took it up full time by 2007. And then I've trained in all kinds of things: hypnosis, past life regression, EFT, and a host of other energy healing systems as well. So yeah, that's about me in a nutshell.
Wow. And I believe all these different cultures that you meet in also India can influence your way to think about hypnosis. But before go in that road, I want to ask you, how did you approach the first time the word of hypnotism?
Well, it started very early. I think it was between 12 to 14 years of age that I have been exploring and studying the human mind from a very, very young age. My sister used to be my guinea pig, in practicing manipulation. So, and it was around 12 to 14 that I actually felt very strongly that I needed help, because I could see that there were certain aspects of my mind that were out of my control. So I read a book on hypnosis, but it seemed so complicated back then. However, a few things that I read did introduce me to this practice of the gazing into the candle. That if you do that, then you develop powers of hypnosis. So for months and months and months, I did that. Like, I eventually developed a capacity to look without blinking for a whole half hour. I don't have that anymore, but I used to. Yeah, so that's how my journey with hypnosis began.
Those are myths and stuff that it's been perpetuated for a long time, and we know now
Yeah.
we don't need to do that. But in all this time that you studied hypnosis, that you worked in hypnosis, what did you discover then it's been fascinating you more than anything else?
I would say two things. One thing is, it blew my mind to realize that absolutely everything was hypnosis. And, the fact that you're just moving from one trance state to another, that's it. You're never really out of trance. That for me was absolutely mind blowing. And it still blows my mind to this day. And the second thing, and this was very new. I mean, if I could meet that teenage self of mine, who was trying to learn hypnosis so that I could manipulate people. I mean, back then it was about learning to control people so that I could feel safer in the world, you know. but but the more I learn hypnosis, I start to realize that to be more effective at hypnosis, you just have to be more authentic and more sincere. And it's more actually about de-hypnosis, the work that we do, than hypnosis itself, because it's the more I work with removing my own hypnosis, the more I can more effortlessly guide people out of this, hypnosis that's holding them back in life as well. So that also is something that really fascinates me.
Wow, I agree 100%, absolutely. And yes, the more I studied as well, the more I understand that it's not about manipulation, it's about freedom, to gain freedom again. So yes, I agree 100%. It's really powerful what you said. Listen, in Western culture, we believe that India is related with religion, spirituality, and other forms of non-scientific disciplines. How you relate these with hypnosis?
I want to start with this whole idea of religion, because when I meet so many people from different cultures, I find everybody else more religious. You know, people have this weekly thing of going to their churches or mosques and stuff like that. Whereas I did not grow up going to a temple every week. Most Hindus would almost never go anywhere. There are people that don't go for years to a temple. So uh, I think what really makes this the hub of religion is the fact that you can be a Hindu if you're a total atheist. You don't even believe in the existence of a god with a form. You are still a Hindu. And you could also be a Hindu if you're a hardcore, praying 3 times a day or 5 times a day kind of person. And, like God is all there is and everything is God. And, you're a version of God. You're Hindu there, you're Hindu here, you know. So I think Hinduism is the most um, educated system when it comes to hypnosis, because they really understood how hypnosis can be incorporated in raising your consciousness. Because as a hypnotherapist, and I know as a hypnotherapist, every single hypnotist knows that the same thing is not going to work on everyone. That is why we have so many methods. Like only a really inefficient hypnotherapist is going to work with one tool, right? We have so many methods. Some people, they are more connected with the body. Some people are more connected with the mind. Some people something else. Everybody relates differently. So in our culture, we have the whole spectrum. You want to follow the stream of atheism, fine. You have the whole theory of formless God. You want to believe in a form, you have so many options. Are you a woman? Do you like the idea of romance? Okay, here's a young, handsome, most beautiful man on earth, God. You can pray to him. Or you're like very motherly. Go, here's a baby, pray to this guy. You're more like a child, pray to this, your father or mother. Or you don't even like human beings, pick an animal. There's the whole spectrum. Pick whatever you like.
So I was thinking about also the relation between yoga and hypnosis. Lots of people is talking about the roots of hypnosis, and in yogic system they have these forms of hypnosis to heal the cells, or to um, make possibility to do a surgery with no anesthetic at all, no eating or stay. Yeah. And also in the yoga you have different way to interpret it, the path. You have different school, you have different. So obviously it's going to be the same for hypnosis. You said something so true. We now know that we have tons of techniques, tons of different way and concept to deal with the same problem. So yeah, another time I
Yeah,
agree
exactly.
100%. We say
Yeah.
always that in America they have a problem with weight loss, they have obesity, heart problem, blood circulation problem, heart attack, and the list goes on and on. But you said to me that also in India is going that direction, and you have lots of clients that ask for your services for weight loss. I know you just finished a weight loss series, which has been really, I mean, well done. And can you expand that concept, how India is becoming also with those problems more and more involved?
Yeah, I think as a culture, we have a very strong culture of hypnosis, which of course can be misused. It was misused partially as well. But we do have a very strong foundation of positive hypnosis as well. We have the largest collection of stories growing up. Every single story is, guiding you how to deal with life and stuff like that. And I think as we are following more and more the American way of life, we are really forgetting the role of hypnosis in our life. You know, I believe that hypnosis plays a very, very extensive role in healing. In the olden days, it still happens, but a lot less. The educated people are taught to not give in to hypnosis at all, which basically means they just give in to hypnosis that's more harmful to them. We'll come to that in a minute. But they're taught to not give in to any hypnosis that does not make sense to their intellectual mind, whereas a lot of things in life actually don't make sense at all. But there was a time when it was very easy. You just go to one of these big ascetics or monks or somebody, you just touch their feet and they bless you and they say, you're fine now. It's fine. Your disease is gone. And you go home and your disease is actually gone. That is the power of hypnosis that used to exist. And now we don't want to believe it. So it does not happen anymore. It still happens, like I said, but the fractions, the percentages are dropping. And now people are thinking, why would I believe in somebody who doesn't have the credentials? The truth is we're still being hypnotized, but we've limited ourselves to people who are doing things for money. We've limited ourselves to being hypnotized by pharmaceutical companies. We've limited ourselves to being hypnotized by doctors. Come on, we all get hypnotized by doctors. In India, at least I know a lot of people who get sick and they will not even start improving until they go and see a doctor. There's so many people, once they've seen the face of the doctor, they come back, they don't take any medicines, and they're already fine. What is that? That's hypnosis. And according to me, it's terribly negative hypnosis, because you're probably raised with your mother repeating over and over, oh, he's take him to the doctor, or else, or else, or else. The mind is programmed. I cannot start healing till I see a doctor. Whereas earlier, the hypnosis was, I'm going to get better as soon as I drink this weird herbal tea. So easy. And now you need to pay all this expensive consultation, see the best doctors. Only then your mind will start kicking in your capacity to heal. I don't know what could possibly be dumber than that. And worse, I mean, in my classes, I actually cover this. I tell people, don't let a doctor ever talk you out of healing. Because how many times do you actually go to a doctor to be told, you're going to be completely fine? You're not being hypnotized to heal. You're being hypnotized to remain sick. The moment you go there, is like, you're already in a, and I know, the moment you go to a doctor, you're in a very highly suggestible state. You're freaked out. You're like, it's like the ideal situation, this ideal scenario for hypnosis. You go there and the doctor says, oh my God, you're gone. Like, there's no way you're getting out of this. You're on medication for the rest of your life. That's it. Boom. You're never healing again. So we've gone from people who could hypnotize you by looking into your eyes and heal you to people who are committed to keeping you sick. So that's one aspect of it. And, so now we have invested our, hypnosis into trusting faulty studies. We know how the whole sugar industry has destroyed the health of America and is now destroying the health in India as well. We trust faulty advertisements. We trust people with the wrong intentions. And in all of this, we have completely forgotten to listen to our body. And that's what dehypnosis is needed for, right? When you're growing up, your parents have forced you to eat things you didn't want. So you've got all that programming, when you're sad, stuff your face. So all this programming that forces us into emotional eating patterns, all this programming that forces us to eat things that we know are not good for us, or eat more than we know or less than we know, all the eating disorders that come up as a result of the body shaming. It's all hypnosis. And then we've got all the the exercise aspect of it. People who never exercise, that's also hypnosis. I am lazy is nothing but a hypnotic statement. And then the opposite, people who exercise too much and hurt themselves. And then the people that go, back and forth, yo-yo between these two states. It's hypnosis to hypnosis to hypnosis. So that's what the whole weight program was also about, just de-hypnotizing you from your eating patterns, de-hypnotizing you from your exercise patterns, and then amping up the hormones, amping up the functions of the organs. And uh, yeah, I mean, all of that. See, the thing is, we don't need motivation when we listen to the body. When you observe really healthy people, when you're standing in a queue, you start stretching because just standing is boring. You start stretching already, but you don't actually see unhealthy people do that. I'm not talking about skinny, skinny or what we call fit in most cases. They're not fit people at all. They're unhealthy. They're having all kinds of health problems. They're not really healthy, but healthy people, you see them move a lot. So movement is natural to a healthy body, you know. And then of course there's the emotional aspect also that we cover, because I think all of us can agree from life experience that emotions affect our health. You either lose weight or gain weight heavily when you're depressed. You gain a little bit of healthy fat when you're happy. And, stress affects the health as well. So the moment you get the mental factors out, also you naturally kind of move up towards health without any effort. So for me, I believe that health is an effortless state. This is another negative hypnosis we've all been subjected to, that health is difficult. You have to put an effort, like it's hard. Why should it be hard to be healthy? I mean, human beings are the only species that have to struggle to be healthy. All other animals have to just exist to be healthy. We have to struggle. We have to struggle with food. We have to struggle with exercise. And oh my God, now after so many years of what, I'm finally going to be healthy. Come on, it's actually easy. It's natural. It's effortless. You just have to get the nasty, bad programming out of your system. That's all.
So I'm astonished because you opened so many doors with this answer, and I wanna tell you, I did this question because India is fascinating lots of people. I told you already about spirituality, religion, and stuff like that. But I want to underline that we have the same problem in Italy. We have the same kind of problem related with heart, with fat people, obesity, and stuff like that. And it's going to be worse and worse. But also, you opened something really important, because you were talking about beliefs and how people believing in something rather than something else can accept different suggestion, and this is a basement of hypnosis working or against us or for us. And you were also speaking about, I read this research recently about placebo, which is almost the 60% of the power of the medicine. And I was asking myself, why doctor don't give straight away one placebo pills or tablet that says, this is gonna be so good for you, with a nice suggestion inside. If you're not good, come back tomorrow, but you're gonna be good, and see what happens, because this is going to be really the next generation of hypnosis. I mean, using suggestion for the good. And also you underline something really important to remind, that we tend to be in health. Basically, we're doing something to ruin our health, to not to be in shape. As also animal, as human being, we tend to be in health, in the perfect body. So you touched so many things that I believe I have to interview and other times. But also I want to say something, because I know that you're approaching the conversational hypnosis field, which I'm in love with that. And you were talking about your culture and, let's say, the transmission of information through stories. How important is a story in your culture? How important is the relation between stories and hypnosis? Would you like to expand just a bit, and how it's a shame that people tend to not believe in stories and not use it to educate?
Yeah, that's a very beautiful question, actually. Um, I think for quite a few years, there was a drop in the stories. Like when my parents were growing up, there used to be all these plays. They were like the stories were transmitted by artists, actually, not by gurus. So it was from artist to artist, and there's so many forms. I had gone to Kerala 2 years ago, and I saw these beautiful leather puppetry, which is like shadow puppetry, they call it, where they have like a screen and they have a whole lot of 100 lamps or something behind. And they design these leather things which create shadows, and they manipulate those. And so they used to transmit stories like that. And then, of course, there's the whole dance forms and all the forms of the theater. And there's so many forms of theater alone in India. So stories used to be transmitted like that. And people take inspiration. For me, the most beautiful aspect of our stories is that all kinds of people are embraced, all kinds of personalities are embraced. Our gods are completely flawed. Like if you look at the stories, there's not one single god that's like, oh, he is awesome, he's not made a single mistake. Every single god, you're like, what were you thinking? Like, what is wrong with you? you know when people come to me and they're like, I believe in God, I'm like, they couldn't save themselves. What are they going to save you from? Because difficulties are part of life, is something that's really like written in. So you really learn that it's not life is not about just this glorified problem free pathway. Like even the gods are not spared, so why wouldn't you? But how did they deal with it? What made them special? So all these stories coming in, and when you learn them from childhood, it's like, even when I look back, because I was raised on a very, very staple diet of stories. you know Now I think the current generation, it went through a very drastic drop, and now it's sort of coming back through TV series and stuff like that. But I think it's still unfortunately underplayed a lot, because again, as hypnotists, we know the value of stories. It's the easiest way to transmit your principles and your values, and what kind of stories are you telling your children is going to determine what kind of people they're going to become.
Someone said to me once, we live the story we recount to ourselves. So it's been so powerful, that phrase to me. It's important to have a nice story to believe in, and we can share it as well. Listen, Ashwita, I have to thank you so much, because I believe people that are listening to this conversation that we had, this interview, can really understand more and more about the world of hypnosis. And I'd like to interview even more. So maybe in time we will see what's going to happen. But until there, I tell you, have a great day and catch you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caruso. It's been awesome.
Bye bye.
Bye.